Hello everyone. Very good morning all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you all are
Good
doing
morning,
well
ma'am.
and staying safe. First of all, I would like to thank you all for sparing your time and joining today's meetup on getting started with HTML5 basic game development in phase 3. Let me give you overview about the company. Yudiz is a digital transformation catalyst offering web, mobile, game and blockchain based solution for your business. My name is Kinnari Vasavda and I am working as a web designer in Yudiz Solutions Private Limited. Before starting this meetup, let me introduce you to today's speaker, Yash Ganatra and Tausif Sayed. Both are web designers. This is the roadmap of our today's meetup presentation. I'm going to cover the introduction of HTML5 in phase 3 along with the basic game configurations. Yash is going to build the entire game in phaser, and later on Tosif is going to give overview on multi-scene. Now let me tell you something about HTML5. HTML5 is most popular and favorite technologies used by game developers across the world. It has everything a game developer needs, from offline asset storage, 2D and 3D graphics, audio API and support for all browsers. There are many keyframes available: Pixie.js, Kiwi.js, Create.js, and a lot more. But today we are going to build game development in Phaser framework, as it is fast, fun, free, and open source framework. Phaser is a 2D game framework used for making HTML5 games for desktop and mobile. It is completely free software. It uses Canvas and WebGL renderer internally and can automatically swap between them based on the browser support. It also allows for fast rendering across desktop and mobile. Every element of Phaser 3 has been rebuilt using a fully modular structure combined with a data-oriented approach. A phaser includes custom WebGL renderer designed specifically for the need of 2D designs. Now let me give you overview about Phaser framework. You can visit the website phaser.io. As you can see, this is the website where you can learn all the available tutorials. You can also download Phaser and get started with building HTML5 games. Also, there are many examples available, so you can download it and get started with building your games. Now, moving on to a game, let me first show you the folder structure. There is one index.html file, one phaser.js file, and one assets folder in which images and sounds are present which are required for our game. Moving on to the code, let me show you the game configurations. As you can see, variable config contains many properties. Config is an object used to configure your game. Type property contains three properties: phaser.auto, phaser.webgl, and phaser.canvas. By default, phaser.auto property is there. It uses WebGL, but if the browser or device doesn't support, it falls back to Canvas. This is the render context in which the game is played. Next property is width and height. You can set any size. Currently, we have used 800 x 600 as the default size for our game display. The next very important property is physics. Physics contains many properties. We have used a default property arcade. Arcade is the ground in which the entire game is going to be built. Further, arcade contains many other properties. Currently, we have set debug to false and use gravity, which will be used further in the game while playing for our objects and player. The next property is scale. It is a scale manager. We can set our entire game in center mode and can give height and width accordingly. It will be covered further in later part. The next property is scene. Scene is collection of game objects and related logic. It contains three default functions: reload, create, and update. Now further, Yash is going to explain you about how to build the game based on these three main functions.
Thank you, Kinnari, for the basic introduction about the phaser. So now let's move forward. I know you all are excited to learn game today. So let's start with creating one basic game in the phaser. So before starting the game, let me show you the output of the game which we are going to build today. So here is it. So we create one game in that our player will collect the apples and our score will be increased. So we will create this game. So now let's start with creating our game. Before starting the game, let me give you some introduction about the default three functions of the phaser, which are preload, create, and update. Preload function will load all the assets in that, and it will load at the runtime. And the create function will call the assets from the preload function and display it in our game. And last one is the update function. Update function will update all our parameters at the runtime. So now let's start with creating our game. So you can see that we need to require to load some assets in our game. So first we will load our assets in the game. So in this game we require background image, this apples image, ground image, and the platform image and the player. So first of all we will load our background image. So let me start with that. First we will load our background image in preload function. So for that we will do code like this dot load dot image, and then we will give the key value of our image. We can give this key value by any name. Right now I am giving the key value as a sky, and then we will give the path of our image. So we will give our image path. So right now our image is in assets folder. In that we have two more folder, images and sound. In images folder we are having our background image. So I will give the path like assets, and then images, and then our image name. So here I have given the path of our image, and I have given the key value for our image. Now I will show this image in the create function. So to display the image in create function, we will call using this dot add dot image, and we will give the x and y value for our image where we want to display our image. So right now I am giving x as a 400 and y as a 300, and then I will give the key value name for our image. So currently our key value name is sky, so I am giving the sky as the key value name. And now let's save and check our output. Our image is loading or not. So you can see that now our image is coming here now. So now we will load other assets in our game. So you can see that in our game we require 4 platform images. So first of all we will load it. To load it, we will load this image same as background image. We will load this dot load dot image, and then we will give the key value for our image. Right now I am giving the key value as a ground, and we will give the path for our image and our image name. Here I loaded our ground image same as our background image. Now we will call our ground image in the create function. So now before adding in the create function, I will add some physics in that, because you can see that our ground image is colliding with apples, and our player is also colliding with our ground. So we need to add some physics in that. So first of all, we will add some physics in our variable. So let's create one variable named platform. And now I will apply some static physics in that, and after that I will load our ground image in this variable. So now platform equals to this dot physics dot add dot static group. It is a default function of Phasor. It allows us to give some physics in our variable. So right now I am giving that here this dot add dot this dot physics dot add dot static group. So now our platform variable contains some default physics. Now we will add our platform image in our game using this platform variable. So for that I will use our platform variable and call using platform dot create. Here we will not use the add function, we will use the create function because we have added some physics in that. And then now we will give the x and y value for our image. Right now I am giving the x as a 600 and y as a 400. And then we will give the key value for our image. Right now I know the key value x and y position of our all the images. So I have added 600 by 400 as per our game requirement. Now let me check that. So you can see our ground image is coming here now. If we don't know the x and y position, then we will change and check that. So let's check with the 500. So if I am changing it to 500, then my ground is going to left side. Right now I know the all x and y position of our game, so I will give that accordingly. Now you can see that we need to load 3 more ground images in our game. So we will first load these 2 ground images and then we will load the third one because third one is the bigger than these all 3. So now first we will load these 2 ground images. So for that I am just copying this and pasting it to below. And then we will give the x and y for these 2 ground images. For first one I am giving x as a 50 and y as a 250. We can give this value as per our game design. And for second ground image I am giving x as a 750 and y as a 220. Now let's check that our ground image is coming or not. So you can see that our all 3 ground images now added in our game. Now we will load our fourth ground image, which one is here. For that we will double our scale to our image. So let's copy this again and paste it to below. Now first we will give the x and y value, same we have added for first 3 ground image. Now we will double the scale of our image. So for adding the scale, we will use the default function of the Phasor. We will add scale using set scale to 2, and then we will refresh our body. Now let's check that our image is coming or not. So you can see that our image is now coming in our game. Now we will load our other assets in our game. So for that, let's move forward. So now we will add player in our game. So for player, here we are using the sprite image because we want some animation in our game for the player. If we are pressing the left key, then our player should go left side and our left hook animation should display. And if we are pressing right key, then our right hook animation should display and our player goes to right side. So for player, we will load using the sprite image. Now let's load this our player in the first reload function. To load the sprite sheet, we will use this dot load dot sprite sheet. We will not use this dot load dot image because we are inputting the sprite sheet. So we will use the default function for sprite sheet. Here I am loading my sprite image using this dot load dot sprite sheet. And now, same as image, we will give the key value of our image to dude, and then we will give the path for our image. Assets, images, and then we will give the path of our image. So we have added here. Now, what we will do? We will add two more parameters in our sprite sheet image. We will add frame width and frame height of our image. Frame width and frame height is nothing but our one frame width and height. So my one frame width and height is a 32 cross 48 right now. We can check in the any graphics software like Photoshop, Sketch or XD or anywhere where our design is created. So right now my one frame width and height is 32 cross 48. So here I am giving the frame width to 32 and then frame height to 48. So here we have loaded our sprite image in the our preload function. Now we will call that in the create function. So before adding in the create function, we will add some physics in our player also because our player is also colliding with the platform and the apple. So first of all, we will add some physics in our player. You can ask us any query if you are getting it at runtime. So we will discuss it at runtime. Otherwise, we will discuss all query at last.
Hello, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you please slow down your speed as we are facing some screen sharing issue.
Yes, sure.
So your in speed and we are not getting your screen on time. So please
Okay, sure.
keep recording slow.
Sure. So now let's move forward. To add some physics, I will create one variable for our player. Right now I am creating my variable as a player. And now I will add our sprite sheet using the player variable. So I will add some physics in that and I will display my sprite sheet using this dot physics dot add dot sprite. It is the default function of the phasor. It allows us to add some physics and display our sprite image. So now we will give the x and y value for our sprite image. Right now I am giving x as a 100 and y as a 450. Then we will give the key value of our image. Same we have added for the images. Now we will run and check our code that our player image is coming or not. So you can see that our player is now coming. I am refreshing again if anyone is getting late. So you can see that my player is coming, but we have not added any collision with the platform. So it's going below to the game. So I am refreshing it again. You can see that our player is coming, but it's going below to the game. So for collision, we will use the default function of the phasor to add some collision between our player and the platform. So for that, we will use the default function of the phaser, which is this dot physics dot add collider. It allows us to give collision between two variables. So here we want the collision between our player and the platform. So I will give the both variable name here, player and the platform. Now I will save the code and run the check. So you can see that if I am refreshing my page, my player is colliding with the platform and it stop here. Now it will not go below of our game. I am refreshing it again if anyone is not getting. So now let's move forward with our game. So now we will animate our player using the sprite image, as I have as discussed previously. So for that, we will add some our animation code. So for animation, we will use our default function of the animation, which is the this.animes.create. It allows us to create animation using sprite image. So we will use this function here in the create function. This.animes.create. And now we will create our animation in this function. In animation, first of all, we will give the key value for our animation. We can give any name to our animation. Right now I am giving our animation name to left, because first I want to create animation for the left walk. If I am pressing my left key, then the left walk animation should be displayed. So for that I am giving my animation name to left. Now next parameter is a frame. In frames, we will give the frame numbers which we want to call in this animation. So here you can check that for left walk animation, we want these first 4 frames to call. So we will give the first 4 frames in the left walk animation. So for that we will use phaser's default function, which is this dot animes dot generate frame numbers. Generate frame numbers. Now we will give the key value of our sprite image. So our key value of sprite image is good. So here I am giving that. Now we will give the starting and ending position of our animation. So here my start position is first one and end position is fourth one. But in phaser it counts with zero from the 0. So we will give the starting value as a 0, and we will give our ending position as a 3, because 0, 1, 2 and 3, 4 frame we want to call in our left walk animation. So right now I am giving starting value as a 0 and ending value is 3. Now next parameter is a frame rate. So we will give the frame rate for our animation. Right now I am giving the frame rate to 10, because in my animation it looks good using the 10 frame rate animation. So I am giving the frame rate value to 10 here. We can give it to as per our animation requirement. Now next parameter is repeat. How much time we want to repeat our animation while we are pressing our keyboard key. So here I am giving the repeat value to -1, because I want to call my animation to infinite times. if any user is pressing the left key more and more time, then our animation should work infinite times. So here I am adding the repeat value as a -1. Now we have created our left walk animation here. Now same as the left, we will create a right walk animation. So for that, I am just copying this code again, and now I am pasting it to below. So for right walk animation, same, first we will give the name of our animation using key value. So here I am giving the key as a right, and then in frames we will give the starting and ending position of our frames. So here our starting position is we can count it here from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the left walk animation, fifth one for the center one, and for right animation our starting position will start from the 5, 6, 7, and 8. So our starting value is 5 and our ending value will be 8. So for start right walk animation, I am giving start as a 5 and end as a 8. Now, if we are not pressing anything, then our player should display statically. For that, we have added center animation. Like if I am not pressing anything, then my center animation should display. So for that, we will load this frame. So for that, I am again copying my code, pasting it to above of the right walk animation, and here I am giving the name of our animation. So here I am giving this center as a key value. We can give the key value by any name, you can, as per our requirement. So right now I am giving as a center for our center animation. Now we will give the frame numbers. So you can see that in our center animation we require only one frame to load. So we will load only one frame here. So for that we are not using this dot animes to generate frame numbers. We will load only one frame. To load only one frame, first of all, we will give the key value for our image. Same we did for the left and right walk. So here I am giving the key value as a dude. And now we will give the frame number which we want to call in this. So you can count here 0, 1, 2, 3 are the left walk animation, and now fourth one is for our center one. So here I am giving the frame equals to 4 for our center animation, and now we will give the frame rate for our animation. So right now I am giving the frame rate to 20, because in center it is good if we are adding more frame rate. And here I am removing the repeat value because in center we don't require any infinite count. So here I am removing that. Now let's save and check that. Now I am saving the code, running the code and pressing my keyboard keys, but our animation is not working because we have not added any keyboard controls in our animation. So for that we need to first add some keyboard controls to our animation. So first of all we will create one variable for that. Right now I am creating one variable named cursor. Now we will add some default keyboard controls in this animation. So for that I will use my variable and I will add some keyboard control first in my cursor variable. I will use the default phasor function to add some keyboard controls. So I will add using this dot input dot keyboard. dot create cursor keys. It allows me to add default keyboard functions to this variable. So now our keyboard controls are in this our cursor variable. Now we will add our animation using this cursor variable. So for that we will do our code in the update function because we want to change our animation while our code is running. So for that I use update function for that. So let's check some condition in the update function. Right now I am checking my condition using if my cursor dot left dot is down. If my cursor is down, left is down, then we will do our some code in this condition. So we will call our left hook animation in this if condition. So before playing our left hook animation, I will add some velocity to our player, because if I am pressing the left key, then my player should go left side. So we will change our x velocity of player to left side. So for that we will do code like player dot set velocity x in minus value, because we want to move our player to left hand side. So we will add set, velocity x to minus. So right now I am giving the set velocity x to some minus value. Now we will call our left walk animation which we have created here. So now we will call our animation. So I will call our animation using player dot anims dot play. It allows us to play any animation which we have created. Now we will give the key value of our animation name. So here I have given key value as a left. So I am just adding that, and we will pass here true to play. So if we are pressing our left key of our keyboard, then our player should go to left side by minus 160 pixel, and our left walk animation will be play here. So now let's check that. I am pressing my left key and my player is going left. You can see that I am refreshing if anyone is getting this late while screen sharing. So you can see that my player is currently going above our boundary of our game. So we need to stop it here, and our game boundary is. So first of all, we will stop our player to our game boundary. So for that, we will use the default function of the phaser, which is the player dot set collide world bounds to true. It allows us to add some boundary to our game, to our object, our variable. So now let's add that code here. We will add our code here like player dot set collide world bound to true. So we will add here set collide world bound to true. We want to add true in our bracket. So now we will added some boundary with our player. So our player will not go above our boundary. So you can see that if I am pressing my left key, then my player is going left side but not going below of our boundary. or any above the boundary. Now we will call our right walk and animation and center animation, which we were creating. Now if we are pressing the left key, then our player is going to left side. If then we will check the code using else if condition. If our player is if we are not pressing the left key, then we will check our right key value using the cursor dot right dot is down. It will check that okay, our keyboard is pressing the right button or not. If we are pressing the right button, then our player should go to the right side. So here we will give the x velocity to the plus in the plus value. So right now I am giving the x velocity to 160, and then we will play our right walk animation. So we will give the right walk animation key name here. So here I have given the player.init.play right to true. Now let's check that if we are pressing left key, then our player is going right side. Now if we are pressing the right key, then our right walk animation is playing. If I am pressing left key, so you can check that I am changing my left and right key again and again. Now we want to add some static animation, which one is the center animation. This one is, if we are not pressing anything, then our players should stop at their position and our center animation should display. So for that, in else part, we will set our velocity to the 0. So our player will stop at their position. So here I am changing my set velocity x to 0, and we will display our center animation. So our center frame will display here. Here I am giving this center. So now I am refreshing the page. So you can see that I am not pressing anything, and my player is calling the center animation. Now if I am pressing the right key, then my player is going right side 160 pixel, and it stops when I am not pressing anything. And again the center animation is calling. And if I am pressing the left key, then my player is going left side, and if I am not pressing, then my player will stop at that position and our center animation will work. Now we want to move our player to above also. So we will change our y velocity when we are pressing the up key of our keyboard. So for that, let's check one condition again. If my cursor dot up key is down, then we want to change our y velocity. Here we want to change our y velocity in minus because we want to move our player above side. If we want to move our player to downside, then we will change our y velocity to plus value. So right now I am changing our y velocity to some minus value. Set velocity y to minus 330. We can change this y velocity as per requirement. Here I want to move my player to upside to 330 pixel at least, because I want to move my player to this platform. So here I am changing my y velocity to minus 330. Now let's save and check that I am going right side, and if I am pressing the up key, then my player is going upside. So you can see that my player can run anywhere in our game. So here we have created our player and the platform, and we have given some keyboard controls to our player. Now next we will add create one object for our game. which one is Apple. In the starting our output, you can check that we are calling the many number of Apple in our game. So for Apple, same we will call our Apple image in the preload function first. So first we will load our Apple image in the preload function using this .load image, and then we will give the key value of our image. Right now I am giving the key value as a Apple, and then we will give the path for our Apple image. So here I have added my Apple image in the preload function. Now we will add our Apple image in the create function. So before adding that in the create function, we will add some physics in our Apple also, because you can see that our Apple is colliding with our platform, and when our player will overlap the Apple, then our Apple should collect and our Apple should hide. So for that we need to add some physics. So first of all we will add some physics and then add a player in the create function. So for that, let me create one variable named Apple. Now we will call a group of Apple using this.physics.add group, which is the default function of the phasor for calling the multiple times images. So here in Apple, we will add the physics and call the group of the image. So right now I am writing the code like this .physics.add.group, and then in the group, first of all we will add the key value for our image. So previously in preload function we have added key value as a Apple, so here we will give our key value of image to the Apple. Now in this group function, second value is the repeat. How much time we want our image to repeat in our game. So in our game you can see that our Apple is coming 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 times. So we will repeat our Apple to 11 times because one time it's calling by defaultly. So we will repeat it to 11 times, and then we will give the X and Y position for our Apple. If anyone is getting fast speed or anything, then you can ask us in between, so I can slow down my speed if anyone is getting the fast. So here I am giving the X and Y for our image. Right now I am giving X as a 12 and Y as a 0, and then we will give the step X value. Here I am giving the step X to 70. Step X is nothing but it is the difference between two images. How much we need the difference between two images. Right now I am giving step X to 70, so we will add our image Apple images by 70 pixels distance. So let's check that. If I am adding the 70, now let's save and check that. So you can see that our Apple image is coming now. I am refreshing it again 2-3 times, so you can see that my 12 Apple is coming from the left side, but it's going below to our game because I have not added any collision effect. So we have to add some collision between our Apple and the platform. So when our player Apple will load and it collide with the platform, it stops there. So for that same we will use this collider function which we have added for the player and the platform. So I am just copying this again, and then we will give our both collision variable name here. So right now I need the collision between Apple and the platform. So here I am giving my variable name apple and the platform. Now let's save it again. Now let's check that our collision is working or not. So you can see that our apple is now colliding with our platform. Now let's save it again. Now we will give this some little bit bounce when our apple is colliding with the platform. So it looks good. Currently it's stuck at when it collide with the platform. So it's not looking good in our game. So we will add some little bit bounce. So for that we will uh, use the default function of the phasor, which is the children iterate function. So for that we will use the function by our variable. Our variable name is here apple. So we will call that function is apple dot children dot iterate. Now we will pass one function in this. So here I am passing one function and I am passing one parameter named child. Now we will add some code in this. So right now I am giving the little bit bounce in this. So I am giving the set y or bounce using set bounce to y. So for that I am using that child parameter child dot set bounce y, and then currently I am giving the little bit bounce to some different values, because if we are adding bounce is in the same, then it also not looks good. So I am adding the little bit bounce in randomly. So for that we will add some little bit bounce using phasor dot math dot float between. It allows us to add some little bit bounce between two values. So right now I am giving the little bit bounce using float between, and then we will give the two values in between we want to bounce. So right now I am giving the little bit bounce between 0.2 to 0.5. So our apple will bounce between 0.2 to 0.5 randomly. Now let's save and check that our apple is getting bounce or not. So you can see that we are getting a little bit bounce with our apple when our game is load. So here we have added apple and player and all things. Now our next functionality is to collect the apple. When our player will overlap the apple, then our apple should hide. So for that, now let's add some overlap function in our game. So for that, I am using the default function of the phasor using this dot physics dot add overlap. It allows us to add the overlap between any two variable. So I am adding that here this dot physics dot overlap, and then now we will give the overlap variable name in this. So right now we want overlap between our player and the apple. So here I am giving the first variable name a player, and then we will give the second variable name to apple, and then we will give the function name which we want to call while the overlap. So right now I am giving the function name to collect apple. We can give the any name here which we want to create the function, and pass other variable to null. Now we will create this function collect apple. So right now I am creating my new function which is the collect apple, and in this function I will pass the both variable name which was the player and the apple, player and the apple. Now when our player will overlap the apple, then our this function will call. So we can add our hiding code of Apple in this function. So in this function, we will hide our Apple. So for that, we will hide using default function of Phasor, which is a disable body. So we will do code like apple dot disable body to true. So what this will do, when our player will overlap the apple, then this function will call, and then this function will hide our apple using this apple dot disable body too. Now let's check that. If I am overlapping the apple, my apple is now hiding. So user can feel like we are collecting the apple. I am going here. So we have created this. Now our next topic is to load the sounds. So without sound, you can feel that our game will be bored. So we will add some sound in our game. So for that, we will use the same load in the preload function. We will load our sound in the preload function using this dot load dot audio. For image, we are using this dot load dot image. For audio, we will load using this dot load dot audio, and then we will pass our key value of our audio. So right now I am giving my key value to the default because I want to play a background sound which plays by defaultly. So here I am giving the path for our background sound. In assets, we have created one folder for the sounds. So in assets, we will go to sound folder, and then I am giving the path of our audio. So here we have loaded our sound in the preload function. Now we will call our this sound in the preload function. Before calling our sound in the preload function, we will create one variable for that. So right now I am creating one variable named music. And then I will play my sound using this music variable. This dot sound dot add. It allows us to add some sound in our variable. This dot sound dot add, and then we will give our key value of our sound. So in preload function we have given the key value to default, so I am giving the key value of as a default, and then we can pass any other parameter. So right now I am passing my other parameter and giving the volume to some little bit low, volume to 0.1, so it not get more voice. Now we will play using JavaScript default JavaScript function, which is music.play play function of our JavaScript. So it will play the music. Now let's save and check that our music is playing or not. So here my site is mute. So first I will unmute. So you can hear that my sound is playing now. Right now I am muting my site because if that sound will play, then my voice, you cannot hear my voice. So right now I am just commenting this music code. Later on we will uncomment this while deploying. Now our next topic is to add some text in our game. So previously you have checked that in output we have added one text here like score. So for scoring functionality, we will add some static text first, and then we will dynamic our score. To add the text, first of all, we will create one variable. Right now I am creating the variable the score text for my some static text. And then we will add text in this variable using this dot add dot text. It is the default function of the phasor. It allows us to add the text in our game. So we will add using this dot add dot text, and now we will give the x and y value for our text. So right now I am giving x as a 16 and y as a 16, and then we will give the our static text. So right now I am giving my static text to score 0. After that we will make it to dynamic. Now we have added static text to score 0. Now we will add the other parameter same as the volume. So right now I am giving other parameter I am giving the font size and color and anything. We can give any style here by in the curly bracket. So right now I am giving the font size to 32 pixel and color to black. So for that I am giving the fill to 0, has 000. So we have added some static text in our game. So now let's check that. So you can see that our static text is coming now. We can change the x and y values from here and the font size and color from the here, and also we can pass any other style in our curly bracket. So now we will make our score to dynamic, because here I am collecting the apple, then my score is static. So I will make my score to dynamic. To make the dynamic, first I will create one variable for my dynamic score, and I will give the default value to 0. So here I have created one variable named score, and I have given the value to 0. Now we will make it to dynamic. So for make it to dynamic, we in our collect star in our collect apple function, we will increase our score value. Let me explain you why we will do code in this collect apple function. When our player will collect the apple, where at that time we are calling the collect apple function. So for that in collect apple we will increase our score. So it will increase when our player will overlap the apple. Now I am increasing my score by 10 when our player will overlap the apple. So here we have increment our score value by 10, and now we will update our score text value by score text dot set text, and in that we will give our updated text value. So in that I am giving this score as is by default. Sorry, I have to add it in the bracket. So I will add the score as a statically, and then now I will call my dynamic score here. So here I am calling the score variable, which we are incrementing when our player will overlap the apple. So here I will call this score variable. So let's check that. Now if I am overlapping my apple, then my score should increment by 10. So you can see that if I am collecting the apple, my player is overlapping the apple, then my score is incrementing by 10. So you can see that we have created our first game here now. Now let's move forward. Now our next topic is the button. We can add any button in our game using the same method as we have given in the text. For the button, just one difference is there. For button, we will use the constant because we want some one-click event on that. So for button, we will create one const using the const. So here we have created one button using the const like test button. In that, we can add a text using this dot add dot text. If we want to call any image in the button, then we will use the this dot add dot sprite. So we can add the image in the button. And after that, we can give the any on-click event in that button or anything we can get added. Here in our game, we have not required any button. So currently we have not added that. In the next part, we will add our button because in next part we are required some buttons and other things. So we will cover it later. So moving forward to the next, next is the multi-scene, which will cover by the Tosif. So let's Tosif.
Hello.
Yes, Tosif.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, yes,
Good morning.
for this. Yeah. Thank you for this awesome demo and explanation, Kinnari. So I'm going to cover today multiple scene or multi-scene concept in Phaser 3. But first of all, I need to explain you what is a multiple scene exactly, right? So if you ever played any games, you may notice that there is a loading screen or in that screen you will have to wait for a few seconds, and after that you will move forward to the main game, and in game if you died you will move forward to the game over screen. So this is different screens, and we can achieve this using multi-scene functionality in Phaser 3. So this is how we are going to do that. And in Phaser, we are going to use the scene concept. So first of all, I need to explain you that what is a scene. Scene is just a class that extends phaser.scene and implements one or more lifecycle methods. So an instance of that class then later on passed to the phaser. So framework and which will track what scenes are active currently. So at a time, you will see only one scene on the screen. So for that, I've created one simple demo. Again, I'm repeating, this is just an overview. So I'm not going in deep. I will cover this. We will cover this in next meetup. But right now, we are going to give you some overview over here. So first of all, I would like to request Yes to show this demo, which I have created. So you can get an idea that how we are going to achieve this functionality in our this game, right? I have created same game, but using the multi-scene functionality in that. Yeah. So here is our welcome screen or loading screen. And in this screen, we can play our game. And to make our player die, that we need to, I have added one more functionality, which is a bomb. And when you collect all the apple, there will be a one bomb appear. And if you collect that bomb, you will die in this game, right? Yeah, there is a bomb. So we will try to catch it for right now. And after collecting this bomb, you can see that our player is died, and we will move forward to the game over. So this is all what is a multi-scene functionality, right? And let me show you some code, and we will explain you. And later on, we will give you time to discuss if you have any query, right? So hold on for a minute. Yeah. So here our game structure, you can see there's a one main folder which having 3 subfolder: assets, scripts, sounds, and also there is a one index.html file, which is currently you can see on the screen. In this index.html5, I have loaded all the scripts we are going to use in this game. And in scripts folder, I have all the scripts which we are going to use in game. So can you please open script? Yeah. Here you can see that there is an index.js file. And as already Kinnari explained configuration, here I have done the same thing, configuration, right, for our game. But what I have added is the scene here. It's already there, but I have changed some functionality here. yeah, here I'm calling three different file, which is a title scene, game scene, and game over. I have used that key value here, right? So first of all, I would like to show you the title scene .js, which I have created. Yes. So here you can see that in this file, I have created one constructor and I have given the key value over here, which is a title scene. So this will be very helpful, this key values, which we want to jump to the one to another file, we will use this key value. So let me show you how we can do that. In the end, in the last line, we can see that game.scene.start and key value, which is a game scene. So this is the key value of another file and game scene. And so that's how Phaser will track that which scene need to be active. And we will call this scene game scene. And after we are waiting for 3000 means 3 seconds, we will move forward to the game scene, right? So let me show you that the game scene. Again, I'm not going in detail because I just want to show you that how we can do that, right? We are not going in logic right now. It's already explained by Yas, and I'm not going in again. Okay, so in this also you can see there's a one constructor with the key value, and yeah, you can see that game scene, right? So this is the same key value which we have used in the last file, and in the end, to make our player die, I have added functionality of bomb, right? For that bomb, I have created one more function in this file, which is a hit bomb. And when player touch to the bomb, we will call this function. And in the and you can see that the game.scene.start. And again, I'm doing the same thing, which is a game over scene I'm calling here. And after waiting for 2 seconds, we will move forward to the game over. And in game over scene, yes, please. Can you open game over? Yeah. So in game over, you can see that I have loaded only one image. You can give that restart button over here. You can make another text here, like game over text. You can do that. But I have just simply created demo, so I haven't done that in detail, right? So this is it. We will going to share you our documentation, and you will get this document in via mail. And just like you did, you get this meetup link. And if anyone having any query, floor is open for the discussion. You can ask us right now, and we will try our best to solve it out. Thank you all for joining. Yeah. Anyone having any query?
Yes, you can ask if any query there. We can discuss it right now.
Hope you all enjoyed. We have got some queries in chats at that time. We have replied over there. Yes, we will provide you the document, and in that document you will find our blog link also. So you can check that blog too if you want to, right? And if anyone not having any query, then we can end this meetup. Otherwise, you can ask. We will try to wait for a few seconds if anyone want to ask something. I think no one is having any query. It's strange. You can unmute yourself if you want to ask, right? Or you can raise your hand. You can also ask in chat, whatever you want. Okay, I think that's it. Yes. Yeah. Thank you all.
Yes,
thank you for joining.
Thank you all for joining. If you are getting any query, then you can ask us. We will wait for that. In the game or anywhere you have got any query or you did not understand anything, then you can ask us that in which function or anything where you don't understand. Yes, you can unmute your mic and we can discuss it if anything one is having. So now floor is open for discussion. We can discuss anything if you want to discuss it. Regarding the phaser or anything, we can discuss it right now.
Let me check.
Let me check in chat if anyone.
Yeah, thank you, Sivajan.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can find Meetup in Yudiz website, YouTube website as well.
Preet, you will get your our document in your mail, and you can see that there is a code explained and everything we have covered in this meetup. So you can get this over there. Okay. And still you have any query, you can ask us right now.
We will share also share this code zip also along with document.
Yeah. Okay, that's great, Preet.
Okay. We don't have any query. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Bye. Yeah, for that we need a like.
Yes, the future of game developer is bright right now because
This is
game
the
is
only industry.
trending
Yeah.
technology. Yes, gaming is a right now trending technology in the our IT industry. So future of game is currently at the top level.
Even in this pandemic, gaming industry is booming right now, right? So you can imagine yourself as a developer if you want to. Yeah, there is a demand, a lot demand, but yeah, skill needed, and you can learn with us, and we will try our best to solve every doubt of yours, right?
And Phaser is a framework which we can create a browser-related game, so user don't need to install any apps in their mobile phone. Like if we are creating the Android game, iOS game, we don't need to create it. Just we will create one game. It runs in the browser.
Correct.
If anyone having any query, ask.
Yeah,
You can ask.
welcome, Preet. Okay.
Okay, so anyway, is not not having any query, then we can conclude here, and we will organize the next meetup for the multi-scene and many other advanced topic in the phaser. We will update that in the later on our meetup group. So stay connected with that.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I am Saurav. I am a Construct 3 game developer. So, sir, I have asked something I am also a learning phaser, but I didn't find any perfect source where I can where I can find the source of this phaser documentation and other things.
Yes,
So, can you guide me where I can see the videos, perfect videos, and the other things to learn perfectly?
Yes, in the phaser site you can find the better documentation.
From where?
Phaser.io, which we have showed you.
Okay.
In that documentation section, you can find a document over there, pre-built or very well explained over there. And also, yeah, please share that link. Yes.
Yes. You can go to the phaser.io. In there, one learn tab is there. In that, all documentation is given in there. So you can go through these tutorials. It is a very good tutorial. to learn the phasor.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We will share this link in also document also, so you can go through this document also.
Mhm.
And currently we are using the phasor 3 library. Previously there was a phasor 2, and right now it's updated to phasor 3. So in this we have demo we have created using the phasor 3, the latest version of the phasor. Sometimes you get stuck between the phasor 2 function and the phasor 3 function. So you need to check that your code is for phasor 2 or phasor 3.
Yeah, we will suggest you to go with the updated version. It's like it's updated and good to go with that, right?
Yes.
So there is a like major changes in phasor 2 to phasor 3.
Yes, there is many changes because some phasor 2 function are not working in the phasor 3 right now. So for that we need to make sure that we are using the phasor 3 function or phasor 3. So now phasor 3
Okay,
is a stable update and it is a great update. We can use all these all the functionality of gaming phasor 3 right now.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome.
welcome.
Okay, then if anyone is not having any query, then we can conclude it. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.